Hello everybody and welcome to Farming Simulator 22. Double G here. This is episode 18 in the series we're doing on the Elm Creek map. So in the last episode we started off in April. We were still in April. We sold the lettuce and the honey for a little over $17,000 because it was not the best time but not the worst time, and those things were on their way down. So we went ahead and sold those for a little over $17,000. I progressed into May. I fed the chickens all the barley we had in the silo. And then I also bought an additional 2,000 liters of wheat just to hold them over. And we're at just under 2,000 liters, so they have enough to make it into August. I was going to harvest this wheat in July. This month that we're in now, you can see the two big fields are ready, but this little patch isn't. So just to make it easier, I'll progress into August before I harvest that, and the chickens will be just about running out of food. So that'll be good timing. I sprayed the weeds in field 47, just over there, that has the sorghum in it. And then I progressed into June. I sold all the eggs that I had for $66,000, and we used all that money to buy field 51, which has soybeans in it. And I tried to fertilize it, but it turns out that it didn't take the fertilizer, so it must have already been fertilized in that growth cycle. So I'll get some food for the dog, and then we'll go try to put a second application of fertilizer in that field. There's really no reason why we shouldn't be able to fertilize the field. So I think it was just a matter of timing. I should have waited a month not knowing what had been done to the field in the current month. So we had 21% of fertilizer before we fertilized it last time, and now we have 11. So we should have just enough to actually get it done. We wasted some fertilizer, but it's not the end of the world. It's not cheap, but it's not super expensive either. So I think we'll be okay. Grab the spreader and head over to the new field. Yeah, so we definitely still have 11% fertilizer left, which will be enough. The sorghum here was double fertilized because it was planted in a grass field that was plowed up. So that's no big deal. It's kind of nice having all of my fields relatively close so I don't have to travel too far. But I will check the map this time after I start fertilizing just to make sure. I think this is probably about 3 passes. I think I figured last time, so. Check. Yep. We're actually getting the second application this time, so that's good. I have to be pretty careful not to waste any, because I have just enough to do it, I think. I think you actually get a wider spread than what you see, not by much, but definitely a little difficult to gauge when there's a crop in the field. I'm relatively certain I'm getting all the way to the edge, even though it looks like it's falling a few feet short. if we just shoot down the middle, we should be fine. 4% left. Really pushing it here. Just don't want to waste anything. Okay. Oh yeah, we'll be fine. Actually, I could probably narrow it up a couple clicks, and we're more of this, I feel like. Yep. Kind of shoot a little bit of an angle. And this should get it. Alright, that's taken care of. Awesome. So we'll take this back to the farm. Another thing I want to do before I progress into August is to fill up the greenhouses. They're not completely empty, but it's less of a chore if you don't wait for them to be completely empty. We still have grass for the sheep, and 3/4 of a pallet. That's good. I still think the majority of our products are best sold in the wintertime, in December and January. We have a few that are good in the middle of the summer, in June and July. So what I will do is check these really quick. Yeah, they're at about 8,000 liters. Full is 22 or 20,000 liters. And our little tanker only does 7,200 liters at a time. So it'll be 3 or 4 trips. So I think what I'll do here is go ahead and fill up the greenhouses, but do it off camera, because it's a boring, monotonous task. So I'll get these filled up, and I'll see you when that's done, and we'll be ready to progress into August. So we're filling up our last tanker load of water. This should be just enough to fill up the 3rd greenhouse. I didn't keep track, but I want to say it was something like 5 trips to get enough water. It'll definitely be a much less monotonous task when we have a bigger tanker, but I don't mind spending the time. I mean, we're able to get it done. It just takes a little bit of time, so no big deal. But this will get it full. I was also thinking about it as I was driving back and forth, and rather than just skip into August, I might want to look first and see if there is first of all, maybe if the conventional baler was on sale. I mean, it could happen. Also, I was thinking to look and see if there might be a barley or wheat contract, since it's harvest time for both crops, where we might be able to pull a few thousand liters off the top once the contract was done, because every little bit will be, chicken food that we don't have to buy. So once we get this filled up, it should not quite take it all. Yeah, 400 liters left. So I'll just park this back behind the greenhouse like I had it, And then we can check the used equipment page as well as the contracts page. Just want it back here out of the way. Don't want it in the way of the spawn point of the eggs or the lettuce. So that's a good place to keep it. So first, let's look at the used equipment page. I've not been doing a good job of checking this regularly, but no baler. And a baler and the bale stacker are really the two things that are on the list for now. I mean, even if I got a good deal on a round baler, I would look into it. So, but I don't see anything there. And the contracts page, there are several. I'm only interested in doing a contract for barley or for wheat. As you can see, we're not going to make, unfortunately, the biggest contracts are not for a chicken food crop. There's that one, canola. Yeah, it would have to be barley, wheat, or sorghum. And sorghum's not even in harvest season. But I think this one, nope, that's not it. That's 3.67 acres, 4.84 acres of barley. And there's one up here for wheat. But it's the same difference for us, so I'll go with the one that's slightly bigger. And our equipment would take, let's look at the field. See, it's field number 41. It's field 41, so it is here. It's close. It's pretty big though. For $300, is it worth saving the money? I say no. I say we borrow the equipment and just get it done quicker. So, but whatever's left, we can come dump directly into the chicken coop. If I could fill up the chicken coop and then harvest my stuff, it might be enough to last a year. But looking for 9,000 or at this point 7,000 liters of extra grain may be a bit of a push, but I still think it'll be worthwhile. So let's take that barley contract and we will borrow the items, because the borrowing the items is $300. Put this tractor away and we'll go get the equipment from the shop. I think my header may be just a little too small to be, effective in terms of time in that field. Oh yeah, much bigger. That header's probably twice the size of mine. So what I will do is go ahead and have a worker take the tractor and the trailer over. Actually, let's... Ooh, not my favorite kind of trailer, but it'll get the job done. So we'll have this guy create a job and go to field 41. Actually, we'll park him right here and start job. And he's on his way. We'll grab the combine. It's a huge one. I could probably get away with just driving it to the field. Yeah, it's a straight shot. I don't think I'll bother with the trailer. It's not the proper way to do it, but we're not going super far. The road is wide. Right. May have been better to put it on the trailer. What we can do is cut through the field here, though, so that we're on the road less. Cut through the backside and come up through our fields to get the 41. So all told, the contract will wind up paying us a little over $3,000, which is fine. But the real advantage is going to be added food in the chicken coop. .41 should be just off to the right once we cross the road. Oh, how am I going to cross the road? I don't think this is going to go over that little bridge, because that's the field we need. Is it going to stop me? I think the rails are too high. Oh. It's like a skateboard rail grind maneuver. Okay. And this is 41. Kind of thought 4 acres would be bigger. Alright. Unfold lower. Alright, hopefully it's been fertilized and it yields super well. Looks like this combine will hold around 9,000 liters just by the percentage, the math on the percentage. It's crossing right over 900 liters at 10%. It does look like we'll get a couple combine fulls out of it, though. Alright, so I get this harvested and get the contract completed and see how much grain we have left over, if any. This all could be for naught, but it's worth a shot. So that's the field harvested. All of this should fit in this trailer. When I took the first load, it said 54% delivered. So I'm not quite sure if this is going to be as beneficial as I thought. I was really hoping we would have more left over. So at this point, there's 18,000 liters in the trailer, and the first 18,000 liters was 54%. Just as a check, we're going to Feed and Grain South. Lost my mouse. Feed and Grain South is currently paying $8.03 per 1,000 liters. Buying the wheat from the store costs us $1,400 per 1,000 liters. So whatever is left over is definitely more valuable to us as chicken food rather than just letting it sell. I just don't know how much there's going to be left over. So we'll make our way up to Feed and Grain South and see, because we can stop dumping as soon as the contract says complete. And just for reference, the contract is currently listed at 91% complete. So we shall see. Wow, these cars like to push the limits. It's the second time I've almost been T-boned. It's a bit of a ride. Oh wait, we're not selling this at Feed and Grain South. We're selling it at the grain mill. But they're all around $800 or $900 per 1,000 liters, which is still less than what wheat is worth at the store. So we'll get this up here, get it sold. Hopefully it's enough to be worth driving back to the farm. I mean, we're going to go back to the farm anyway. I just hope it's more beneficial than I'm thinking it's going to be right now. It's a bit of an uphill journey too, especially with a load. So I will try to be very quick on the trigger here and maybe start and stop a bit to catch it. So I'm just watching for the little indicator on the top right that the contract is complete. Each time I stop dumping, it tells me how much is transported. 95. Finished. And we have right at 3,000 liters left over, which is better than, not as good as I'd hoped, but better than I was fearing. So we'll take this back and dump it into the chicken coop silo, and then we can finish the contract. And that also gives us $3,000 thereabouts. I was kind of hoping we'd have enough left over to fill up the chicken coop. This will put us around 6,000 liters maybe. No, 4,000. 4 to 5. we'll be able to tell when we get back. I think the margin of extra grain that's left over is about the same on every contract percentage wise. So a bigger contract would have had more grain left over. So get this back over and dump. I can't really be complaining about the traffic because it's not like I stop at all the stop signs myself. At least they stop. But if there's an inch of a gap, they'll try and take it. So in the next episode, we'll be able to progress into August, and all of our wheat will be ready. We're not in jeopardy of running out of chicken food, especially with this little bit going in. But we may still be in a position where we're not growing or doing contracts on enough to supply the chickens for the year. So let's try this. I think what I'll do is loop around and come in between the greenhouses and just pull into the feed area. This is one of those dolly style trailers that is murder to back up. This dumped in there. Have a look. We're at 4,500 liters, which is good for a couple of months. That 3,000 liters effectively saved us about $4,500 worth of wheat we would wind up having to buy. But the chickens are so valuable, the eggs are so valuable, we cannot afford for the chickens to run out of food. So, yeah, let's have a look at the greenhouses too. Yeah, we're up to 5 pallets per. So that's about 7,500 liters of lettuce. We may have to make several trips to sell it in the wintertime. It might be time to look into upgrading to a bigger trailer. Alright, let's get this contract finished and wrap it up. So if we go back, it was $35.26. It's $31.34 with the lease cost. So we'll collect $30.56 contract income. Alright, I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Until next time, take care.